Gurus. I am
Namaskar.
Priyanka
Hello and
Deo.
welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me is Priyanka Deo, and we are going to be talking about a breaking news. ANI. We all know what ANI is. It's a news channel, very popular, and it has sued Wikipedia for defamation. To know more about this and all the stories around it, let's welcome our guest Priyanka Deo. Priyanka, namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel. How are you?
I'm good. Namaste, everyone. Thank you, Shri, for having me again. I'm very good.
So sorry that I didn't tell you that I was only I was on the screen, and you didn't get a chance to see that. That's all right. This is just a chat that we're going to have, and so viewers, this is something that affects us also deeply. Sometimes these kinds of misrepresentations can mar a reputation, and Wikipedia is arbitrary at best. Priyanka, I'll tell you one thing. Last 10, 15 years now, when my kids were doing high school, right,
Yeah,
the teachers would specifically say, do not quote references from Wikipedia for your project. They
yeah.
would they would specifically say. So they have a huge credibility problem because of
Mhm.
the type of editors they use. So I'm very curious to know whether they're going to throw the editor under the bus, or they are going to accept responsibility. Tell us a little bit about what has been happening, and we'll take it from there. Go ahead.
I think you call the channel or the platform, I should say, arbitrary at best, but that's being very kind, Shri. It's absolutely I first. I think your kids and I were probably in school at the same time because I was also told by professors and teachers never to use Wikipedia for academia and academic papers. We still used it because some facts, some stuff, okay, cool. But now when I went to India for the 2019 elections, Wikipedia was called out multiple times. And in the 5 years that I was in India, it was called out multiple times by multiple people. Now, I think this time around, it's clearly not changed in any way or done anything about it because I believe the court case was on July 9th. So the Delhi High Court actually heard this defamation case filed by ANI, which is Asian News International. That is a huge, I mean, that's a massive Shri channel in India. ANI basically claimed, to put a long story short, when you go on Wikipedia, why academia and why professors and why teachers tell you not to use Wikipedia, it's because anybody can put anything on it, right? That was the entire point of Wikipedia, to be a neutral repository of knowledge and information. It has evolved to anything but that. They always had a top level of editor, right? People can edit, but they always had a top level of editor. Now, the point of that was that only experienced hands could deal with sensitive content. It's like a prime minister's Twitter handle, right? You'd want somebody experienced dealing with that. But you don't want at the same time somebody completely biased handling that to see which tweets go on and which tweets don't, right? So that is what has happened with Wikipedia. If you guys I don't know, anyone in the audience can recall that back in 2022, I think the co-founder called out Wikipedia, or the ex-co-founder called out his own platform, because he has said that it's evolved into a platform that is completely biased. It's been called out for being pro-left. I would even say radical left in on some accounts. I specifically came across Wikipedia when I was looking at the CAA and Delhi riots because I was in Delhi at the time. So when CAA was happening and when Delhi riots were happening, I believe the exact wording of on Wikipedia pages was it was so off. It was, these are Delhi riots are created by Hindu mobs meant to target Muslim people, and no objectivity, no source. I don't know where they were getting this information. Images were cropped, to remove the skull cap of some of the people that were involved in the riots. And that information I just checked before I went live right now, it's still there. So they have not changed anything despite being called out on it. Now, ANI has asked for 2 crore in damages because of this top editor issue, top level editor issue. So basically, ANI claims that Wikipedia or whoever has edited their page on Wikipedia has portrayed them as being just a propaganda tool in favor of the government of India, and that they spread misinformation. I mean, it's stated on ANI's page. So the joke is that ANI cannot go and change its content. And I say that if you're calling ANI out for being pro whatever government, then why aren't these top editors calling The Wire out for being anti government? I mean, that should be, if you're going to call one of them out, call all of them out or call none of them out, right? So this is the issue, that ANI is obviously its reputation gets damaged because Wikipedia at the end of the day has a huge international audience. Everybody knows about Wikipedia. NRI, it's not even within the Indian community, it's all over the world. Everyone goes to Wikipedia, and the first thing they read when they look at ANI is it's a propaganda tool for the government of India and it's spreading misinformation. So I would actually say 2 crore is very little in the damages that they seek. I would ask for more. I think that this, Shri, to answer your question, you had asked me, what are they going to throw their editors under the bus? Honestly, I don't think so. I think that it has been called out multiple times. It has been called out on a serious level multiple times, including by government of India officials. While I was in India, I remember that during after the last election cycle, very, very prominent journalists, very, very prominent members of political parties like BJP, their pages were completely deleted because they openly expressed favor for the prime minister or favor for the government of India in some way, or in terms of journalists, or in the case of journalists, reporting in favor of the government of India or making a positive video about PM Modi. The page was completely deleted. Now, I get, everyone is entitled to their own opinion and their own analysis. I don't care whether you support the prime minister or not, but to delete a person's Wikipedia page is, right? I mean, it's a slap on their face without slapping them on their face physically, right? How can you do that without, and that too, there's no sort of reason why. A top level editor has the power to delete pages, block, and just basically cipher and stifle any information that they want to. So there is no level of objectivity. It's kind of like Twitter shadow banning, which I'm sure, Shri, you know all about. There's no real reason, and you don't even know half the time if you've been shadow banned or not. I think your followers
Yes, indeed.
probably let you know, but there's no sort of transparency, and that's where the problem lies. That who are these editors? How do they rise? Because the other issue is that why do the pro-left editors rise? And why do if an editor is somewhat right-leaning, why doesn't he or she rise or ascend the ranks? So this was another point of contention in the hearing. And this was a major point of argument. In fact, I believe the person representing Wikipedia, his name was Siddhant Kumar. He argued that the page's restricted editing access means only the top editors can modify it, and the reason being, since some information is sensitive and not everybody should have access to it. So that I can somewhat agree with, but be objective, right? I hope that, I'm very hopeful that August 20th is the next court date for ANI. I'm really hopeful that, the court hears it out and actually punishes ANI with punitive charges, monetary fines, because then maybe...
I'm sorry, I think you meant punishes Wikipedia.
What did I say?
And ANI.
No, I hope the court rules in favor of ANI and punishes Wikipedia.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, because once they are hit fiscally, once they're hit with fines, it's like sanctioning a country, right? Then you'll be a lot more careful, or if you're not careful and you really don't give a crap, a lot more people are going to come in front and start suing you as well. Heck, I mean, I don't know, Shri, I have a lot more following than some of the journalists there on Wikipedia, and I still don't have a page on Wikipedia myself. So, or maybe nobody wants to write about me, which is also fair enough. But I can't write about myself because I guess I lean the wrong way, according to Wikipedia top editors. So that's the real issue. And the fact that its own co-founder has called it out, it gains a lot of credibility towards ANI's argument that, look, this is supposed to be a sort of bank for neutral information, objective information. When you're talking about Delhi riots, you should be covering every aspect about Delhi riots there is to cover. When you're talking about CAA, Article 370, why is there any bias in it? Why is there any opinion in this? Why is there anything in it that it should just be covered? That's it. But that's, I guess that's a tall ask for any media outlet, let alone Wikipedia. But the problem is here that Wikipedia is not a media outlet. Wikipedia doesn't work like a media organization. Wikipedia is not dependent on certain funders and founders. They don't have that mandate of putting information in a certain way, at least not that we know of. What else can I say? So
You know,
I think, after this debate tree, we should go and start writing our own Wikipedia pages and see if they ever get published. We should see what year they'll get published. Maybe after our lifetimes end, we'll get published and we'll have our own page on Wikipedia, right? What say?
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, you told me just before we went online. By the way, viewers, apologies. Mistake was mine. My Bluetooth suddenly decided that it will not cooperate, and I had to cajole it, put it back in the box, shake it a bit, then to take it out and put it on my ear, and then say a few prayers, and it said, "Okay, I will for now." So
There we
that's how this thing got
go.
delayed. Um, so, Priyanka, you told me just before we went online that the information has been released on the 9th of July. From
Mhm.
1st July, viewers, you know that the new set of laws that have been brought out for India, they are much more stringent,
Yes.
especially in those media outlets which are going to peddle fake information. So I'm curious if they did do it after the 1st of July, in which case the new criminal laws apply. Again, I'm assuming, see, defamation could be civil, it could be criminal, it depends upon what was defamed, right? And maybe we'll know that on the 20th. I have not had a chance to look at the lawsuit itself. But Priyanka, a little bit of information on the new laws. It definitely will, it's much more draconian in the sense that if you lie, and if you are caught, you are in big doo doo.
It's more stringency for sure, right? Before it was, I mean, India was known for, at least on the NRI side, what I can say, whether it's right or wrong. And I have great respect for the Indian judicial system. But, it's like you have a court case in India, it goes on and on and on and on, right? It goes on for years. Put a court case on him and it'll go on for the next 15 years. No problem, right? That was kind of the, I guess, stereotype that the judicial system has. I think with these laws, it is just more clear cut, right? If you do this, this is the fine. If you do that, this is the punishment. If you do this, you're going to jail for this many years. There is no, it's definitely coming towards the American judicial system, which is one of the harshest, I would say, criminal penalty systems in the world, where, if you commit a murder, you get 350 years in prison, right? So basically, you're not coming out. It's just a life term. And it's non-negotiable. So if you notice in an American court, if you look at any TV sort of, if they're streaming it or if they're showing a trial, I mean, as soon as the verdict is read out, people almost know that this is the punishment. Indian system and India, the way judicial system works, there was a lot of room for debate. There was a lot of gray area, as you said before, Shri. So I think now it is just clear-cut lines that if Wikipedia is found guilty of defamation under criminal law here, this is what they're going to have to pay. This is what's going to happen. And it's going to happen very soon after that. So hopefully we will see changes that Wikipedia has made. And perhaps that's why some of these changes have not been made before. That's why Wikipedia and certain houses that produce academic information and reports, that are completely anti-India, they even use the wrong map of India. They've not even bothered till date to change it. So hopefully Wikipedia, if they're punished, it sets a precedent that, hey, come on, get on it. I mean, Jammu Kashmir now is a part of India. Use the right map. So hopefully other outlets follow suit if the penalty is implemented right after the verdict. And I mean, the verdict has not even been decided. Like I said, the next hearing is on August 20th. So I'm very, very curious to know what will happen then. But I think that ANI has a really strong case here because it's not just, I would say, the co-founder that's called it out. People on Twitter have called it out. High level personalities and VIPs have called it out, and not just in India. Elon Musk has called it out because his own page, Tesla, had information that was wrong, and he couldn't go and change it. He was like, "This is not what happened." So I'm just wondering what goes through those editors' heads, to pardon my French, but they really have guts to, put some of that information out. It's almost as if, we'll just say what we want to say here. Let's just type it in and here we go, publish, right? The problem is that millions of people read it, including Elon Musk, and they call it out, but nothing has been done about it. So the Tesla page is still the Tesla page as of now.
Priyanka, one observation I must make here is that in the United States, most states have jury system. 12 jurors, takes a while to seat the jury, sometimes even a day or two. And once the jury is seated, there are a couple of alternate jurors, and they essentially listen to a trial, and then they fix who's guilty and who's not guilty. If a person is guilty or a company is guilty, they have two types of damages that they recommend: compensatory and punitive. Compensatory is for the person who lost some revenue because of the defamation or whatever the thing. Punitive is on, like, for example, in this case, let us say that Wikipedia has found guilty. Compensatory would be what ANI lost because of the disinformation that was on Wikipedia about it, and that's a number.
Mm-hmm.
Punitive is like 10 times sometimes of that number, because this is against Wikipedia not to repeat the same thing against some other company.
Yeah.
Now, right, this is all jury gives those numbers. I mean, the judge will give them instructions, the jury meets, and they decide that this is what it should be, this is what this should be. And if the numbers don't seem to match the normal numbers for the particular type of case, the judge will then say, look, this is the way it is, and I'm going to raise the punitive to this number. Unfortunately, in Indian judiciary system, the judges seem to be very, very nice towards the people who are found guilty.
Yeah.
Then the damages are like laughable. It's like they can't count beyond 1,000. They can't seem to know. They don't seem to know lakh, crore, whatever numbers. And this is, to me, something that the judiciary, they have all the responsibility. You don't have any jurors, so essentially you are responsible to fix the guilt. And once that is done, both have to be given, compensatory and punitive. Again, they'll say, well, in India there is no punitive damages. I don't care. Put the same thing, put together in one number and say this is the amount of money you have to pay. I'm looking for, once you are found guilty, again, like you said, it takes eons before the case gets, goes to its legal conclusion.
Yeah.
and then they give like, oh, pay 10 rupees. What is that? It's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in this case, it is 2 crore. So it is a sizable amount. And, I'm reading some of the comments here, which I really love. One person has written that, which is true, that most pages on Indian history and culture are full of heavy bias and disinformation, controlled by these editors who prevent others from making any corrections. Somebody else has written that even Google uses information from Wikipedia to prioritize search results. Oh, I think it's the same person. He seems to know a lot about Wikipedia. Maybe we should have him on after the August 20th hearing to join our debate. But this is true, that Google sources information from Wikipedia and it uses it within its algorithm for YouTube videos. So if you notice on YouTube, Shri, you would have experience with this because your following is way larger than mine. But the algorithm works against you in that something that is anti-India will get millions and maybe even, multi-million views. But if we put out solid information that is objective, it barely gets any views, right? The algorithm works in favor of certain videos. And the sad part about it is that there is no transparency within this. What I would want to see in this trial, and what I would want to see if I was a jury member sitting in this trial, is what is the transparency here going forward, right? I don't even want to see, because I know that if ANI wins its case, perhaps, some of these other pages that are talking about Indian culture, some of these other pages that are, some of these other outlets, some of these other people, they're also going to come forward. They may even form an alliance and start suing Wikipedia altogether, so Wikipedia just gets screwed, right? So I am really not worried about how much money they're going to get, whether it's 10 rupees, because it's not going to stop at 10 rupees. If ANI wins, you can bet that Wikipedia is going to be paying a lot more money to a lot more people. But here, what I want to see in any change, because Wikipedia, the sad part about it is I don't think it's going to go away. It's been called out so many times and it's not disappeared, right? In any country, not just in India. And that's including the US, which, like you were saying before, it has one of the harshest penalty systems and consequences for crime in the world. If Wikipedia has not gone away here, why would it go away in India, where you, as you said, people are just a lot nicer? That after 10 years, you owe 10 rupees or 1,000 rupees, right? So I don't think Wikipedia is going to go away. But what I would like to see is transparency, who these editors are. And as you said in the beginning of when we started this session, are they going to throw these editors under the bus? Are these editors going to be called out like Twitter and the people that worked at Twitter for their inherent bias? Because the people that worked at Twitter, they were called out by legislators over here. They were called out by senators over here. They were called out on certain instances like COVID, where they misreported information or hid information. That's what I really want to see. I want to see Wikipedia being called out on specific instances, because after the hard work that we do to go on the ground, I was on the ground for Delhi riots. A house burned in front, behind me, and there was a bus that exploded 50 meters at that point away from us. So we could have died in the Delhi riots. To be shot down and just for one sentence on Wikipedia to say, oh, these are caused by Hindu mobs against Muslims, that was absolutely not the case. And anyone on the ground would tell you that. They didn't report on the police officers that died in the Delhi riots and the CAA. They didn't report on, anything that was happening on the ground. So my first question is like, who the hell are these editors? Where are they sitting from? Where are they looking in? And where the hell are they getting this information? Because all of my videos were on the ground with things exploding behind me. So, it angers you, Shri, actually, as a journalist and as a person that's been on the ground wanting to give
put your life on the line to give you the truth, and this
people
is what
really
happened.
do. I mean, I was lucky enough that I didn't have too many instances like that. And I, was lucky enough that when I went on the ground, my life was not in danger all of the time. But some people do. And imagine how they feel when this, shitty information comes out on Wikipedia from some random guy or some random editor that we don't even know, who's never been there, who has no idea what he's talking about, but whose ideology is, so radical that they really don't care. So it really does have an impact, and it has an impact on kids because these kids go to Wikipedia and read. One person told me the other day, "Oh, you're from India, right? They have casteism there. They have a caste system there." And I said, "Where did you read that?" They're like, "Oh, I read it somewhere on Wikipedia. I was reading something about culture, but like you guys, demean people of who are inferior to you, right? Or something like that." So, I mean, it is very dangerous because it's absolutely, I was just like, what? And even if I make 100 videos of it, it's very frustrating to see somebody go on Wikipedia to read 2 lines. It kind of it's like a slap in my face too. And a slap in a lot of other people's faces too, right? So I really hope Wikipedia gets called out, Shri. I mean, I really, really do. If I'm biased, so be it. But I mean, it's been called out enough times by enough people in enough instances where there needs to be some control and some transparency here now.
I'm also hoping that Google starts looking at, there is something called as a page authority. When Google puts up search results, the search results are proportional to the first number that will appear is supposed to be a page that has very high page authority, meaning they are authentic.
Yep.
But you will notice that on the first page, which is 10 or 15 search results, Wikipedia also gets in. So I am kind of like conflicted here. Google, are you really doing the proper work? I mean, especially in the light of, let us say that ANI wins this case. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Google needs to start rethinking some of these things. And see, the people may be going to Wikipedia because there is these guys are the first ones out with something like that concept that, if you want to know more about something, come and look at us. But today, Uncle Google can give you all that information too. You don't need to go to a site to get that.
Yep. It's and Google also, but the problem is that Google has, I think, infiltrated our lives so much that now, even if Google is
We
tracking
go
and
Googling, we don't search anymore.
it's like beyond, anything. It's like, yeah, okay, Google knows where I am. I don't even care anymore. I don't even know how to switch it off. Because the thing is, even if you switch your location off on the phone, if you turn your maps on, Google knows exactly where you are, right? So the level of
Right.
infiltration that Google has on our personal lives, it's very difficult at the same time. Sure, your point is valid. I agree with you. But it's very difficult to shake a vehement like Google off completely. A lot of media companies now are doing content licensing with Google because they realize that their information and their pages, like Times of India, Hindustan Times, any outlet over here for that matter, Chicago Tribune, Chicago Sun Times, a lot of them have done content licensing with Google. And I think that that may be a way forward. And what content licensing is that, yo, Google, you can't just take all of our pages and rank them. I think that when there is content licensing and when media houses are also involved in that content licensing, there is automatically going to be more of a streamlining of information. And hopefully that solves the bias, because media houses, like large media houses, I can say, at least like Times of India, they have, and I can only say this because I work there, they have journalists from across the board from every ideology that you can imagine. So there are pieces printed there from every side of the coin. And hopefully, content licensing solves the issue a little bit, but a lot more work has to be done.
Yes,
What
indeed. Some very interesting comments. One person is saying, contractor says, this also had so many legal ramifications in India. The land was distributed in my village based on this. This being Wikipedia.
Wow. Yeah, this is interesting. um, it's scary if that's the case. I mean, if
Yes.
people are looking at Wikipedia and saying that, oh, this is the way, Ayodhya needs to be built, and then they build Ayodhya that way, imagine what would happen. So it's not even legal ramifications; it's just the future of what goes on the ground, really.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Priyanka. We've been talking for 27 minutes, and
Yeah,
there are no questions, but a lot
I
of
feel I can
interesting
talk to you
comments
all
from.
day, Shri. This is so much fun.
First off, she's not happy that nobody has put her
Not
profile on
Wiki. You're
Wikipedia.
not on
I
there
can go
either.
on.
We'll do a joint page. Maybe there's more power there.
Better still, you write my page and I'll write yours.
There we go. Let's see. And let's see what year we get it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Viewers, I hope you like this format of ours. This is more conversational. I mean, Priyanka and I kind of bounce things off of each other. We may not always get onto the same page. Sometimes we'll go away and then come back. But the
Yep.
point here is to try and show you divergent points of view. Priyanka has spent a lot of time in journalism in India, and I have not spent time as much as she has. I just go there once in a while, but mine is mostly halfway across the world view analysis more than anything else. But how does India fit into this whole global ecosystem? That's where the action today is. So thank you so much. And I have one acknowledgement from contractor. Thank you for your work. Thank you so much, contractor. And thanks once again, Priya. Sorry, I have something in my throat. Thank you so much, Priyanka. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Namaskar.
Namaste. Thanks.